Good morning, everyone. It's Allison from Happily Homeless is Moonstruck, coming at you live from the opera camp, Opera in the Ozarks. So today is the final performance this evening, and the show is going to be Carmen, which is an amazing production, so I'm going to go and see at least part of it. And then afterwards, they'll be breaking down the stage and the props and everything else. Good morning, Lori. They'll be breaking down everything. Hi, Janice. Because tomorrow all the students go home, the staff will be leaving. Opera Camp, Opera in the Ozarks for the summer of 2017 will be done. Good morning, Diane. I'll be staying on, let me see, so once they leave, Saturday a couple new students will arrive, and then Sunday it will be kids camp. And so it'll be young, I guess they're teenagers, I don't know, 15, 16, something like that. They'll be arriving for 2 weeks, but we are less involved with them. It's more them renting the space and they bring everything that they need. So I'll continue on with doing what I do, which is taking care of the grounds, but it'll be a lot less than what I've been doing, and also for Terry. So Terry, the maintenance guy, he and I and his wife Pat and the chef Juan and then Nancy, the director, will be staying on until possibly as late as August 12th, but if we get things wrapped up earlier, then we'll be leaving maybe a week earlier. So we'll close the place up, shut everything down. You know, a guy comes in and shuts down all the water and electricity, stuff like that. And so, for instance, I'll take like all of the flower pots that I've done the container gardening in. We'll store those away, grills, I mean, just anything that's out, all the equipment, we'll make sure everything is closed up, locked up. And then we'll be taking off. And wow, and it's really, I know it's going to be an emotional day for everybody. I got here May 1st, so I've been here quite a long while, and I didn't know what to expect, other than, okay, I'm taking care of the grounds, but you know, that covers everything and nothing really, knowing that. And I think back to those first few weeks and getting the equipment running and just everything that's happened and everything that I learned, and I'm leaving knowing so much more. Good morning, Stacy. I'm leaving knowing so much more about everything, and you know, just how to do all of this, but just like internally, and it's really the internal changes that we look for, right? No matter what it is that we're doing, and I have a confidence level in me, and I was already confident, but I was just thinking this morning, doing this work camping has been a very different part of my Odyssey of love. In the years since Chuck died, you know, I've traveled around the country, I've stayed at places, you know, fam camps and state parks and things like that, and I've met people, and then I've stayed with family. This was me being out entirely on my own and working, you know, doing something, and like people, they know me as, okay, Allison, she takes care of the grounds, you know, and so it was a different identity for me, and it's going to take me a while to really clarify in my own mind about everything that has happened to me, everything that has changed in me this summer. I mean, like people, you know, the people here, it's like I think they think I know what I'm doing. And I mean, you know, clearly I do with a lot of this stuff, you know, with gardening. I mean, how hard is it to mow and trim and all of that kind of stuff? But I don't know, there's just a different level of confidence in me, and which is all to the good, right? We always need more confidence. I guess maybe at the root of it, I know more than ever that those words I said to Chuck before he died, he was so concerned, you know, that he wasn't leaving me better off financially and all of that. And I told him, look, Dee, I will always make it work. I had no idea that this is how I would make it work. it took me quite a few years to even find out about work camping. I didn't know it was a thing, and now I know it's a thing. And I was looking at some of the listings yesterday, looking for something, a work camping gig out in Arizona. And hopefully, I'd like it in the West Valley near to my kids, but I've made some tentative plans from here. I'll, go visit Chuck's mom in Indiana, and then I'll head west to Arizona, but, who knows if that's what's going to happen. So I always, I never really I don't put my emotions, I don't emotionally invest in going in whatever plans I may make, because it can all change instantly, and I'm okay with that. So I am looking at Arizona, and there's a few different things available, but a lot of times what happens in work camping is that they trade you, you do the work, you do the job, and you get a free hookup with me, which means electric and water and stuff like that, and no salary, no pay. And I can't do that. I need ideally it would be like it is here. I have a free site, and then I get paid besides hourly. This has been a really wonderful gig, and I'm, in spite of all the bugs and snakes and blah, 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 blah that I've spent the summer talking about, I'm absolutely open to coming back here again, because artistically, this is a phenomenal place to be. The talent that I have seen here, for me, it's never been about where I am physically. It wasn't like that even when Chuck was alive. It's never about where I am. It's about who the people are that I'm connecting with. Good morning, Rita. It's the people I'm connecting with, and I have connected with so many people here that, like in really beautiful ways. Last night, after the opera talk, there's an opera talk before every performance where Nancy, the director, talks a little bit about, gives an overview of the opera, and then different, the prime players are there to talk about their roles. And so after the opera talks, 'cause I always set up the chairs ahead of time. It's out on what we call the slab that overlooks Beaver Dam in the distance. And then afterwards, I put the chairs away and stuff like that. And so last night afterwards, Davis, who is my friend here, he's this guy. He and I share a love of Seinfeld, and he's just been he's become a really good friend here. And he and I spent a few hours talking last night, and just about everything. And he's got Davis is a young man, impatient to be older, and he has goals and he has plans, and he has a wise heart, and I really like him. He's a good man, and so he and I spent quite a bit of time talking last night. I'm going to miss a lot of the people here. I'm going to miss being here for the experience that it is. It's really been an experience. Everything has expanded. Good morning, Anne. Everything has expanded. Everything in me has gotten even more wide open. And I look at how it was when I was younger, okay, in my 30s. So you're raising kids, it's different. You've got to have stability and, to give the kids. And so Chuck and I had the house and, all the stuff that you do when you're younger and you're raising kids. And now that I'm older, now that Chuck has died, now that I've been a widow for 4 years, good morning, Lynn. Now that all of this has happened that has happened in these 4 years, what I know is that we look for stability in our younger lives, and so we get the job, and we have to keep that job, and we have bills to pay, and all of that is very real. And I have bills to pay now too, of course, and because I'm not immune to life. On the other hand, what I know more than ever, though, that I didn't know as much when I was younger, is that I will always make it work. I will. And I have no intention of going and getting a job, and like one job and keeping it for years and years. My ideal is just working temporary jobs, and different jobs, not in an office, and not all the things that I've already done. This work has been grueling sometimes, especially in the heat of the day, but I still would prefer doing this over an office job. I want to look for different jobs where there's I don't know, I'm at least around people in the creative process. It's just been fascinating. So, so yeah, I don't know, a job for a few months at a time, a year at a time. This is what I'm going to be doing, though, is a work camping thing. You know, looking for some kind of, the one thing that I do know in the work camping is I do want to get paid hourly in addition to getting a free site. So I've learned, you know, I'm kind of getting into the swing of this kind of stuff, and I'll learn more as I go along, and I'll make connections and networking and all. They do want me to come back next year. I've had many people on staff talk to me about coming back, and I have no idea what's, you know, God, next year, I don't know, maybe dead next year, or I tell them, well, if I'm not rich and famous by then, by doing my one-woman show out on the road. My goal for that is to give myself 6 months from the time I get out to Arizona, 6 months to put it all together, all the show, to get some bookings and to start traveling with that. I'm giving myself 6 months, and I believe I can do it, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to go out on the road. And so next year, but especially if my son is still here in Arkansas, then I would absolutely consider coming back. So yeah, today is wrapping it up. Students will be leaving, staff will be leaving. It'll be a skeleton crew here, and well, the teenagers will be here. God give me strength. But and then it'll be 1 or 2 weeks just truly skeleton crew. Back to what it was when the first week that I got here. So that'll be interesting again. I've learned a lot here. I've learned a lot, and I thank, you know, Nancy, the director here, for hiring me. And I know that my being a woman partly had to do with that. You know, having a woman as a groundskeeper. And it just strikes me as odd, you know, why it's so unusual to have a woman doing a groundskeeping job. But I suppose maybe a lot of women who get into what is generally understood, or I don't know, seen as being just something that guys do. I guess maybe it's unique, even though it ought not to be in this day and age. But hey, if my being a female helps me get into any position, I'm all for it. Because I have, yeah, I mean, you have to have the skills to back it up, right? You can't just go in simply because of, you know, because you're a male or female, even though, yes, that's the way it does happen in our world oftentimes. But I'm, you know, I can ride a tractor, I can wield a weed whacker, I can push a mower, I can plant gardens. So I'm not going to raise anything from seeds. I've never been good at that. So if there's anything specific like that, but you know, I can do this shit, and it's hard work. I guess a lot of women just don't. They don't like to. I don't know. Maybe they'll break their nails or something. I've never in my life had a manicure. I've never had a pedicure, and because I've always gardened and I've always been outside and I've always known it's been totally useless, and I bite my nails anyways, and so, you know, it was never any point. But I've never been afraid of getting down and dirty with anything outside or with any task. Chuck and I, you know, he would like to do things, you know, that for me that might be harder for me, you know, lifting and all of that, but he also knew that I could do it myself, and that's the important part. I don't mind letting somebody do things for me as long as they know I'm fully capable of doing it myself. Good morning, Faye. So, and yes, Janice, I am still working on my dreads. I am so pleased. They still look like little baby penises on my head. Peni. I had a discussion with my kids once about what is the plural of penis. Is it penises or is it peni? So they're all kind of short baby peni right now, but they're getting there, and I'm so thrilled that I know how to do them now. I don't have to pay anybody to do them. And actually, this is helping me with my nail biting, because when I'm watching anything on Netflix. Hi, Davis. Yeah, you can see I'm working hard. I'm over here in the big field under the shade of a tree. um, uh, Instead of biting my nails, I get my little needle and I weave my dreads. It's a great, some people crochet, some people knit. When they watch TV, I weave my dreads. And I actually get kind of obsessive about it because I've got to get all the little stray hairs. My bangs will come at some later point when they're longer. They're kind of irritating at this length because they get in my eyes. But if I dread these now, they'll end up like super little mini penises, just right to there. So I need to wait till they're longer, and I'll just tuck my bangs up. I have to figure out about the bangs still. I know how to dread them, but I have to decide the look that I want with them. So that'll all be happening too. But I love that I can do dreads. So when I write my essay, when I go back to school, which I'm not doing, but how you have to write essays, or you had to when you went back to school. What I did over the summer. Over the summer, I learned how to dread my hair. Over the summer, I learned to be confident in everything that I do. Over the summer, I learned that I can do anything at all, any task that is set in front of me. Over the summer, I learned that I can ask for help. I learned that more than ever. Over the summer, my heart expanded. Over the summer, I met amazing, beautiful, creative people. Over the summer, I got hugs from people I'd never met before who would just, when they saw me approaching, would just open their arms and hug me. Over the summer, I had the opportunity to watch 3 operas a week and laugh and understand some of the process of performing an opera. Over the summer, I saw costumes made for these operas. I saw stages being built. Over the summer that I spent in the Ozarks, where I never thought I'd be, and where I was exposed to another whole world that fed my soul. So that's what I did over the summer. Heidi, will we still see you? I'm going to be all over the place. I'm going to be like the Lone Ranger. You never know when the lady in pink will appear. I have no idea, I have no idea about life anymore. And I'm so okay with that. Everything can change in an instant no matter what I do. So I'm going to live as loudly as I can. And I'm going to defiantly continue, and I say defiantly because there's some people who think that I, ought not to, that I am living in the past, and that I'm still moored into this grief, and my heart does live in the past, my mind lives in the past. I think about Chuck all the time, and the memories that I'm starting to regain, they shoot through my head and my heart. And I think back, and I remember our love, and I miss the love that we had, and I miss everything about that, and I live there remembering the moments, and I don't care. I don't care whether I'm not supposed to do that or not, because I'm not sure who it is who is the arbiter of that. I'm fully engaged in living, as I have shown over and over to myself. I don't need to show it to anybody else. I'm fully engaged in living at the same time as I am fully engaged in living in the past with the man that I loved, and remembering him and the moments we had together, and thinking all the time about how much I miss it, and how much I miss him, and how much he is missing from me, and I am always going to talk about him, and I'm always going to talk about our story together, and I'm going to do all of that while I am living this part of my story, and this part of my story, I'm doing it fully and in color, and I would leave it in an instant if I could have him back. I would leave it in an instant, as amazing as it is, and I know I have built an amazing life. So this is what can be done even while you're grieving. This is what can be done even while you're sad and lonely and all of that. You can still do all of this shit, right? You don't You don't have to not be this way to fully engage in life. You do both of them at the same time. It's possible. I'm telling you, it's possible. And my life that I have now shows that. It shows that. I'm living in my past, and I am living this day. Not living in the future, because I have no idea about any of that. And I don't care to know. And the idea of living another decade, 2 decades without Chuck, I can't bear to think of it. And so I don't, because we don't know it anyways. The future is all speculation. Every bit of it is speculation. And so I'm just doing today. And I'm doing today in pink. And I am thinking about my husband, and I think what Chuck would if he could see me. If he could see me and what I've done. And there would not be one bit of surprise in him. Not one bit of surprise. Or I should say, well, he wouldn't be surprised that I've done it. I think he would be intrigued and shocked at, like, holy shit, Miller. You continually surprise me. That's what he would say, because he would say that over the years we were together. And, but I know, too, that if I were at a campground somewhere with my rig, Pink Magic, and he was camping also, and he saw this pink trailer there, and he saw this woman in pink walking around, he would hone in on me immediately, and he would come find me. He would seek me out to find out who I am. And because one of my greatest fears, I think I've said this before, after he died, and I knew things were, I was just so different, and one of my greatest fears was, would he know me if he were to come back? And I think he would find his way to me even faster now than he ever did before. But he always knew the strength that was in me. And more than that, he knew the determination. He knew that I'm one determined woman, and I will do whatever I set out to do. And I'll do it all with love. And he saw that in me long before I even saw it in me. And so yeah, he'd find his way to me. And so maybe someday there'll be somebody, a man who is strong enough in his own self, with the confidence in himself, to seek me out too, to be able to know, to understand, that if a man ever comes into my life again, that man will understand that Chuck is an irrevocable part of me, and that I carry him with me in every second, in every heartbeat that I have, and he'll be strong enough to know that because of that, that's why I'm able to love the way that I do. Because I had that love, and I have that love with Chuck and from Chuck. So, yeah, who knows if such a man is out there. But, and it's not on my, I can't conceive of it anyways. But I used to think that you can't be in love with 2 people at one time, and now I believe that you can, because it's 2 different people and it's 2 different situations. Because I will always be in love with Chuck. I am still in love with him. I am more in love with him than I ever was, and it's like these years have passed, and when you're with somebody, hopefully you grow more and more in love with them anyways as the years go by. And so that's just continued, even though he's not here physically. I have grown more in love with him as if he was here. So anyways, all of that to say is what I did over the summer. Here's my summer essay. So the grounds are looking pretty good for the final show, and everybody will be packing up and then leaving tomorrow throughout the day, mostly by noontime I guess they'll all be gone. So I'll be busy, I'm sure, helping wherever I can with all of that. And I will check in with you again. And but meanwhile, thank you, all of you, for joining me here this morning. And onwards and upwards, one breath, one heartbeat at a time. And I'll check in with you later. Ti amo.